Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Jody with our 10-minute daily devotional. I am here in West Palm, and it is a gorgeous weather. Yesterday it was so pretty outside, and so it is fun to, although it was very pretty in Atlanta this past weekend, or Sunday anyway. So anyways, it's kind of fun to have this warm weather as we see all the Christmas lights around, but I am excited to go home today and have a little bit colder, I think, weather. Let me open us up in prayer. Dear Lord, thank you for this day. God, thank you that we can come together to worship you. And please give me wisdom as I look at what you have inspired for us to read, and please give everyone else wisdom as they're listening and learning, and hopefully learning, and just focused on you. In your name we pray, amen. All right, well, today I was looking through all these devotionals and I couldn't find anything, so many of them right now are about Christmas, and I felt like we had done that recently, talked about Advent recently, so I thought, what can we do? And I couldn't find anything that stuck out to me. So I said, well, I'm going to just go to the Bible, the good old Bible, and read from there. And so I said, what about if we read the Isaiah 9 passage where our verse for this week comes from? And so our verse for this week, as a reminder, if you didn't see it yesterday, is Isaiah 9:6. And it is Christmas related, so I don't know why I said I don't want to talk about, Christmas, but anyway, Isaiah 9:6. For unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government will be on his shoulder, and he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. And just to be transparent, I did read it because I haven't memorized it yet, although I think I do have it in my heart. So you know what I think of when I hear that verse? I think of Linus reading it in the Charlie Brown Peanuts Christmas special. I don't know if y'all have ever seen that, but Linus reads the Christmas story when everyone is up in arms about the tree that Charlie Brown bought. And I can just hear his little voice reading it. Anywho, so let's pull up. I don't have my Bible here with me today. I'm going to scoot this over. But, scooting it over the wrong way. I pulled up a few things I wanted to look at. Okay. So, but what I wanted to do is read that in the Bible, and I thought we would read, hey, Tony, thanks for joining. I thought we would start at Isaiah 9:2, and I pulled it up, and I pulled up the Message version, and, I think a lot of us have heard this over and over all throughout our lives, but I thought it would just be fun to read it, and then I actually found another little devotional that kind of describes it. So let me just read Isaiah 9, starting at verse 2, and let's just talk about the prophecy. So this is a prophecy of Jesus being born. So this is in the Old Testament, and this is I don't know who wrote this or who said this, but this is prophecy that Jesus would be born. So Isaiah 9 verse 2, the people who walked in darkness have seen a great light. For those who lived in a land of deep shadows, light, sunbursts of light. You repopulated the nation, you expanded its joy. Oh, they're so glad in your presence, festival joy, the joy of a great celebration, sharing rich gifts and warm greetings. The abuse, hey, good to see you. Oh my goodness, hey Tiffany, we have a big group today. I'm reading Isaiah 9, and now I'm probably at around verse 4. The joy of a great celebration, sharing rich gifts and warm greetings. The abuse of oppressors and cruelty of tyrants, all their whips and crutches and curses is gone, done away with, a deliverance. As surprising and sudden as Gideon's old victory over Midian. The boots of all those invading troops, along with their shirts soaked with innocent blood, will be piled in a heap and burned, a fire that will burn for days. For unto us a child has been born, for us the gift of a son, for us he'll take over the running of the world. His names will be Amazing Counselor, Strong God, Eternal Father, Prince of Wholeness. His ruling authority will grow, and there'll be no limits to the wholeness he brings. He'll rule from the historic David throne over that promised kingdom. He'll put that kingdom on a firm footing and keep it going with fair dealing and right living, beginning now and lasting always. The zeal of God of the angel armies will do all this. So I love that. I love the message because even though it's a little bit hard to understand, quite frankly, I love the message because it breaks it down a little bit. And there is a song out there called Angel Armies, so that makes me think of that. But anyways, I think it's so beautiful. And so I pulled up this other devotional, and it's called, well, you know what? I don't even know what it's called. It's on a website called carm.org, and I think it's actually someone's sermon notes, believe it or not. And what it talks about is this passage, and it says, "For unto us a child will be born, to us a son will be given." And it says, what do you think of when you see a newborn baby? So think about that for a minute. Do you think of power, strength, and majesty? No, I don't. Do you think of a cute new life that is vulnerable and needs warmth, protection, and food? Absolutely. That's what I think of. The preciousness of life is best seen in the frailty of the newborn. And we love and value these little ones. And if you think about that for a minute, think about when you've seen a newborn before, and this small baby that, is so breakable, it's so fragile, so precious, can't do anything on its own, can't eat on its own, actually needs love to live. There have been studies of those orphanages in the past where they would put the baby in the bed, and the baby would, if it didn't get the love and the comfort of someone holding it, it would shrivel up and die. So, yes, Tiffany says pure love of just this little baby and is so vulnerable. And think about Jesus coming as that way. Tiffany, my friend Tiffany wants to join. You have to have earphones on, or it might be an echo, but I'm going to go live with my friend Tiffany so she can join in. But just this little tiny baby, and then it says here, how much more should we value the precious life of Christ, who, when he became a child, was delivered from his mother's womb, entered into our world the same way we did. And now Tiffany's on our video, and I'm excited. Hey, Tiffany.
Hi, I didn't realize it'd be on the video.
I'm so excited.
I didn't know what I was doing when I did it.
No one ever does, and that's what's awesome. Tiffany, what do you think of when you think of a little tiny baby?
Well, I just held one the other day, and they're just so innocent, and they can't do anything without you. They can't move. They can't, they can't change locations. They can't do anything. They're just so, like you said, vulnerable.
Yeah. And so just thinking about how Jesus came in this state is just so awesome to think about. And I'm just reading through the other bullets here because we're running out of time. But it says, we have no capacity to understand the incredible humiliation that was involved when the Word became flesh. So I think that's an interesting statement, that when he came down and all of a sudden, hey Joy, good to see you, but all of a sudden, he was a perfect being and he came down into an imperfect world. Can you imagine that? Being in this world of perfectness, you can do whatever you want, and coming into this world where he could do whatever he wanted, but he didn't, because he wanted to be a person just like us. And then I'll read the last bullet. It is an unfathomable reality that defies comprehension when we think of the second person of the Trinity entering into humanity forever, because Jesus will forever be a man in which the eternal world will dwell. And so what I would like for us to think about today is And there's so many good points in this. I wish we had more time. But what did the Word give up to become a child? What did God give up to become a child, a small son? He became one of us to die for us. He became like us to free us. He walked among us to guide us. He saved with us to teach us. So many cool things to think about. But what I want us to think about today is I really want us to go throughout our day thinking about how Jesus became a baby and how vulnerable and tiny and innocent and lovable babies are, and how Jesus did that for us. And for us to just focus on that throughout the day. And I think today is a day of thanksgiving, that we just praise Jesus that he did that for us. And so all throughout the day, as we have our trigger points of prayer, that we just praise Jesus and say, Jesus, thank you so much. Hey, Tracy, thank you so much for sending your son to us. And let's think about that all throughout this day and just focus on that love of Jesus, that he would do that. Can you imagine, and I'll stop in just a second, but can you imagine having a child, for those of us who have children, or even for those of us who don't have children, who have dog children or anything like that, and sending your child from a perfect world to an imperfect world where you know he was going to be beaten up and cursed and spit on and just flogged and then ultimately die on the cross, this awful death, and you did that because you loved the people that you sent your son for. So it is pretty amazing. So today we're just going to focus on, in your journals, right? Today is December 4th, and I don't have my journal with me, but December 4th, and I want us to write down, ponder on the love of Jesus, or the love of God to send his son Jesus to the earth. So write that down. Ponder on the love of God to send Jesus to this earth. So that's so awesome. I love it. And so let's think about that today. I'm not going to, please write down your praise and your prayer request. I'm going to go ahead and pray us out because I'm way over time, as always. But go ahead, write down your praise and your prayer request, and I'm done. Let me pray for us. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for this day, God. Thank you for this reminder at Christmas that you sent your son, and this reminder in this devotional today that he was so innocent, so fragile, just so full of love for us, and that you sent him into this imperfect world that was so mean to him, and you did it because you loved us and you loved him. And it's just so hard for me to fathom that and to understand that, having children of my own, to send them into that, but you did it because of your love, and we just thank you so much for that. Dear God, please help us to think about that as we go throughout the day. Please keep it on our hearts so that as we go throughout our day, we think about you, we think about the love that you have for us, because you're so awesome. Thank you so much for all that you do for us. We love you, God. Amen. All right, you guys, have an awesome day. I'm so sorry I'm over, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Thanks for joining.